Well, the city just released its latest crime statistics. The NYPD says for the second straight month, overall crime is down. It declined by nearly 12% in December. That's compared to last year.
Now, the amount of murders dropped, as did the number of rapes and grand larcenies. But the MTA says there was a nearly 30% increase in transit crime last year. Joining us now with more, New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Thanks so much for joining us, Mayor.
Thank you. It's good to speak with both of you.
Absolutely. Well, we are thankful to the NYPD and your leadership that we're ending this year on some better stats regarding crime. But I mean, the glaring issue is the rise in transit crime, because we all know that the MTA, the subway system, it's a lifeline, it's the heartbeat of the city.
Yes, and it's important that not only are people actually safe based on the numbers, but they must feel safe also. And that is why we rolled out in layers our subway safety plan. And it included an additional 1,000 more police officers, 1,200 more hours of actual visible patrol, announcements to let people know that the police are on the platform, over 1 million subway safety inspections, merging in our patrol bureau. And so we know we are far from where we want to be, but we're seeing a safer, cleaner system. And with the mental health illness initiative we're doing, we're going to see that visible presence as well.
Yeah, well, we're thankful for that because, definitely have seen an increase in, men and women in uniform in the subway system, which I know a lot of people are appreciative of. I want to ask you, though, because if it's not crime, it is a city that is bankrupt. And that's where you say that we are headed, because our resources are drained trying to take care of migrants coming to this city. You're saying that's going to cost us about $1 billion to manage the situation. The feds are saying, maybe we'll give you $8 million. Is that upsetting to you? Because the president just signed a massive omnibus bill that gives $44 billion in aid to Ukraine. The FBI gets a $400 million new headquarters, but they're only giving us $8 million.
Well, Mom used to say charity begins at home first. And, we have some real issues here around the migrant seekers. We believe the initiative that the president put in place dealing with the other countries that were coming through the border is very important because we were seeing an uptick in those countries here in the city. Look, we're going to do our job. We have an obligation and responsibility to make sure that we do what's right for those who come here. But it's just unfair for places like El Paso, Washington, New York, Chicago. These cities should not be handling a national problem. Our national government must deal with the border issue, and we must receive the resources.
Is it good enough, though, what President Biden is saying that he's going to do? Because he's basically mass paroling people into the country.
This is a step towards where we need to go, because we needed to stop the heavy flow. You saw what it was like when Title 42 was lifted. We were inundated with migrant seekers and asylum seekers, and that is something that New York City just couldn't handle. So the $8 million is original FEMA dollars that we put in for. There are more dollars in the omnibus bill, and we are hoping New York receive their substantial share of that. But that is not the end of the problem. The problem is to stop the flow, not just to continue to infuse money in it.
Yeah, Mayor Adams, I want to stay on trend with the migrant situation. What is it about New York that other states feel that they can put people, I mean, these are people we're talking about, right, on a bus, ship them halfway across the country, and drop them off in a city like New York, when New Yorkers already have their share of issues, right? They need access to city resources. What is it about New York? What do you think the impression perhaps maybe your administration is giving them?
No, I think to the contrary. People have always fled to New York. There's a reason the Statue of Liberty sits in our harbor. This has always been a place where individuals have wanted to come to New York City. I'm pretty sure if you look through your ancestry, you'll see that your family came from somewhere just like my family did. This is New York City. People want to come here. But then you have those other states that are encouraging people to come here so that they can leave their states. That is just wrong. There needs to be a real decompression strategy where the national government ensures that everyone who is coming to America is spread throughout the entire country. What we did is follow the law, and the law gives us certain things we must abide by. So it's not just my administration. Prior to this administration, we were receiving thousands of migrants and asylum seekers coming here to the city. We were already receiving a large number prior to this administration.
Yeah. My next question for you, the New Year's Eve attack. 19-year-old Trevor Bickford, right? He's facing several charges, excuse me, attempted murder and also assault, attempted assault. Why is he not facing domestic terrorism charges as well?
Well, that's the call for the federal government to make that determination. I believe he should be. His action clearly to me was reflection of a terrorist. He specifically targeted government officials and the police officers. Their uniforms are the symbol of governmental authority, in my belief. I just want to take my hat off to those officers. One of them, I just spoke to his graduating class in the academy, how they responded, how they discharged only one round. Really concerned about all of the thousands of people who were at Times Square, and then corrected the condition and went back to making sure that everyone there was safe. This is really why I talk about the men and women that wear that uniform, a uniform that I wore. I know what it takes to be a police officer, and I believe the individual should be charged with some form of federal terrorism charges, and I'm hoping that would happen.
Mayor Adams, on a lighter note, it's New Year's, right? The new year just started. Do you have any resolutions?
Just continue to work hard for New Yorkers, getting up early and make sure that I give it my all. This is a 24-hour city.
And maybe change bail reform, too, you know, while you're at it.
Listen, I say this over and over again, and I think it's just so important that all of us get this right.
Yeah.
Bail reform is a slogan that we're using to deal with a broken criminal justice system. There's so much more, and that's what my colleagues and I talked about yesterday with Reverend Sharpton and Hazel Dukes, because we realize we must come with a real plan to address the criminal justice system.
Yes.
And if we just think that there's a magic bullet and just dealing with bail reform or giving bail authority to judges was something I believe in, but that is just not enough. There are broken parts of the system that must be corrected.
All right. Mayor Adams, we thank you so much for joining us this morning. Maybe Curtis Lewa can help fix some of the rat situation that we found up in there in Brooklyn in your place. Check back in with us next week.
You know, anyone that lives with 17 cats in a studio apartment,
you know those cats.
Know something right.
Those cats, they like the rats. All right, Mayor.
Happy New Year, Mayor.
Always
Thanks
love
for joining us.
Take care.